Okay, so it has been another week. Today is February 26th, 2019. Where am I this week? Well, this week was a little bit of a mess. So I had my thesis proposal defense. It was I know there's like two different defenses I have to do, and the first one is a smaller hurdle, and that first one was the one that I got over this past week on Wednesday. So I had been very, very sick. I just barely got like my presentation, a PowerPoint presentation put together. I just barely got that done, and I had homework that I also worked on that I think turned out terrible, but I don't have my grade back yet. I have another homework assignment that I fortunately got an extension on, but unfortunately haven't been able to make much progress with. I have looked at it, I have worked on it, I've not done as much as I wanted to, but I'm really lethargic compared to how I normally am. And I think I'm still a little bit unwell. Like I'm not sick. I mean, I cough up some phlegm once in a while, but I'm not like incapacitated, but my appetite is so much smaller than it normally is. I went out for dinner before my test today, and I was barely able to eat my 8-ounce steak. And I normally would put away a 22-ounce steak. So that's, tiny. And I did not finish my salad, and it felt a little bit wasteful, but I really wanted to do well on my test, and I know if I have a steak, I do better than when I don't. So I went out and I got myself one. But yeah, I don't have the energy that normally defines me, so I need to work and be more vigorous. After everything that I went through last week, I decided to take my weekend early on Thursday and Friday, and then focus on working Saturday and Sunday. And Thursday I had class in the morning, so technically I was still working that day. And then Friday I mostly took off, although I did some logistical planning to get some work done. But Saturday I mostly at least attempted to work. I didn't get a lot done, but I put in time and I put in effort. I just didn't get results out. And kind of the same thing on Sunday. And I studied more today before my exam because I was I was really in a bit of a panic, and I don't think I did very well on that exam, but don't I always say that? But I really think I did badly. If I were grading it myself, it would probably be a 70 if I was generous. So I have my fingers crossed that the professor is more generous than I am. There was one exam question that I completely misunderstood the first time I read it because I went through the whole exam twice, reading the questions. I always do that. I go through once and I try to answer the questions. If anything is too difficult, or if I get stumped, or if something is just taking a long time, I'll skip it and come back to it. And it works out pretty well most of the time. And there were two questions. One of them had to do with prism layers, which is basically when you're doing CFD shapes, immediately around a shape, you have the boundary layer if it's in a flow. And that is where the most interesting things happen, but it also means you need really teeny tiny little parts. So the prism layer is a special layer that's put around objects so that they are able to be more accurately simulated. And it usually has several levels or layers. And each of those layers gets progressively thicker because the changes happen most at the surface and things change less as you move away from the surface. So his question was if you had like 32 millimeters for, well, anyway, I probably shouldn't share the details of the exam. Somebody might have to take it, but yeah, it was basically a problem calculating how many, how thick the thickest layer would be if you knew how many layers you had, like 7 or 10 or whatever, and you had a certain thickness for your prism. So I think I got that one after I came back to it, and then there was another one that was on turbulence that at first I thought it was asking me about boundary layer transition to turbulence. So that's what I drew a diagram for, and then I came back to it later and I was like, that is not at all what he was asking here. So I tried to revise. I think I improved my answer. Didn't really cross out the other diagram. I was just like, yeah, just ignore this diagram. It's not actually the question that you were asking. So hopefully he'll, I don't know what. But I was sick and I missed some of the class, and some of the things that I studied were not on the exam, which is always very hard when you're pressed for time. Some of the things that I knew were going to be on the exam, I could not find in my notes. And I was looking for the whole weekend for some of that stuff. So I can't feel too bad about that. But yeah, so I feel like I've stumbled a little bit, but I've just got too much else to do. I did buy some new Magic cards on the weekend, but they were bulk. They were like $20 for an $8 box and 5,000 cards. So as far as bulk commons and uncommons go, I have a lot of stuff. I just don't have time to sort them and really enjoy them right now. But it's kind of a backlog of stuff from when I wasn't playing Magic so much. So I'll get to have some fun eventually because my cards are something. I keep playing with them for years and years. I guess that's everything for now because I can't think of anything else. I'm at least not totally stressing about money right now because my funding has been coming through nicely. Should get my books this coming weekend if everything goes according to plan. But yeah, I'm just very tired, very lethargic. It's like 2:44 in the morning right now because I can't sleep very well. But we are where we are, and I'm doing the best I can. Just, I really need to do better than that right now.